Good morning and welcome to part 4 of this Wright Flyer 40T repair segment. So what I'm going to do today is, as you can see, I've got my Coverite covering iron on here and I need to get it plugged in. So I just plugged that in. I've got my iron set at 2, which is good for monocoat. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to finish the repair and cover this top sheeting here. And the reason I've got this upside down right now is, and I probably should have plugged that in a few minutes in advance so that this video would take even less time. I've got some scraps of monocoat here. And I won't call anything that's monocoat a scrap really, because it's all like precious gold. But as you can see, I think you can see here that it doesn't really match perfectly this color, which is fine. And these scraps of red came from my the Sig Cadet Mark II. I think that's what this is. Yeah, Sig Cadet Mark II Facebook purchase that I made in that I've got wood series. And the covering that came with that was this color red, which I think was True Red or Missile Red, I'm not sure, and Dove Gray and black. So those are the colors of monocoat that I had open. I have other colors of monocoat open, or other colors of monocoat but not open, and they're not like this, primary colors. So what I'm going to do here is I've got this piece which is already cut to the size for that, and then I've got this small strip here. And the reason I've got this small strip here is because, as all of you that watch this series know, this is not monocoat or Econocoat or Ultracoat or anything like this. This is made overseas, so it's basically a contact paper type material, and I can't really, I'm touching the inside of it here, and that sound is it's sticking to my finger. So it's a contact paper type material, and honestly I'm not sure, I don't know that I've worked with this that much. I'm not sure if it shrinks. I'm not sure how it responds to heat. So I've got this little piece of red monocoat here as a test piece just to see if these two things are going to play nice, because I'm going to really kind of need, it's not a requirement, but I would like to have, where's my piece that was already cut? It's right here. I would like to have this, overlap slightly here on the aft edge, just to keep it in place, and then obviously I'd like it to go over the edges here to some degree and adhere there. So that's why I'm doing this test. Now the other thing with red monocoat is, in the last years, and I'll say literally years, because I used some red monocoat several years ago, and I've had some issues with red monocoat. Not so much the other colors, but I've actually had rolls of red monocoat that didn't adhere well to themselves. It was just like the example, I used some of this red monocoat, exact same roll, on that T-34 Mentor on the bottom of the wing, and half of it didn't adhere. Part of it stuck really well, and then half of it came right off, and the surfaces were perfectly cleaned. So I've had issues with red monocoat also, and I believe I've even read that other people have too. So I'm going to go ahead and peel that backing off this little test strip here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to kind of do it on the side, kind of how I'm going to do this, but that seems like it's getting warm enough to, so I'm just going to kind of tack it here a little bit and see what happens. So I just tacked one little bit there. Kind of want to let it cool a little bit and do a pull test on it. See, and I'm doing this on the bottom here because if I have to iron this whole piece on here, which I was planning on doing anyway, I could cut it. It wouldn't be so visible, but I mean, to me, it's coming up pretty easily. It's a matter of, would this withstand flight and fuel? I'm just going to go ahead and iron most of this down at this setting, because this setting looks like it's a good temperature for monocoat. I don't know if this stuff shrinks at all. I'm not sure what its shrink temperature is. I guess I could kind of lightly, because it looks like there's a little bit of bubbling here. And I'm not really even touching the material here. Yeah, so it's not, it heated up, and I'm not sure if it's rebounding there or not. So this looks like this could be like really low heat stuff. I might have to try and get my heat gun on a very low setting, or at least keep it far away and see. It looks like it might have tightened that up a little bit there though. Let me try it just a little bit here again. And like I said, I'm not really touching this. I'm just kind of hovering this heat over this. Now I'm touching it a little bit, just to see what happens. And I'm watching to see as it cools, if it's shrinking. It does look like this is shrinkable material to some degree, but it looks like it's pretty low temp stuff. So if I choose to do any kind of shrinking here, I'm going to have to be extremely careful with this. As I've got an angle so I can see the ripples, and I can see them tightening up as it cools, and I'm absolutely certain you're not going to be seeing that. I don't want to do too much more there. I don't want to really screw this thing up, because this isn't really what I'm supposed to be doing now. I just want to iron this on. This is going to be in theory, going to be a very short video, but this has had several days to, or at least over 24 hours to dry. So this shrunk up pretty good. So I think using a very low heat at a good distance will shrink that up. So with all that good stuff done, this is a piece I cut, and I've got a very new and incredibly sharp number 11 blade here. I'm almost wondering if I should just lay this on top of the other piece first. I'll just, let's see, how thick is it? No, I'm not going to do that. So this is the top side up, so I'm just going to pull this covering off here. Backing off. I'm just going to lay it on here. I think I'm going to sit for this. I think I want to bring it over here and overlap just a little bit here too, so I'm going to bring it just like that. I'm going to start in the middle and work backwards. Now I did already sand the top of this. I'm really gonna let this sit on here and really adhere to this bare wood. And just quickly run it over that back edge there. Now, I like to kind of just roll down over the edge just a little bit to start getting it over that edge, and maybe all the way over the edge, and then cut it. So I'm always kind of pulling towards the direction I want the covering to be tight. So see, if I were to leave it like here, like it is right now, it would cover up part of this. So I'm going to have to try to make a little cut on this covering such that it's not going to do that. So let's get this out of the way. Let's do our cuts here real gently. adhere down like that. I always kind of push up to see if I still feel an edge that's not adhering. Okay, so that was all right. Let's flip it. Get this last cut here. So I'm basically just kind of laying this on here and letting this be my thickness gauge, but I may kind of roll the knife blade a little bit. It's amazing how these blades seem to dull rather quickly. I should just be able to slide this through here like this several times before it peters out. I got a little too aggressive there. A little monocoat patch over that little area. Alright, now I just need to do a little bit of Alright, so I would say for the most part that repair is done. I think I see a couple little things back here that I could take out. So I don't think this looks too bad, and at a distance nobody's going to be able to tell the slight variation in the color. But I mean, so this repair is done. Now the next phase of this video series will be dedicated to actually assembling the rest of this airplane per the instructions, sort of, until I decide I want to do things differently or in a different order. Because quite honestly, I've built many kits. I have assembled several ARFs, probably on the order of 8 or 9. So I don't really need to go by the instructions, other than just to remember to do something that makes it easier so that I don't go a step in advance. But I mean, for the most part, I don't really need an instruction manual to assemble an ARF. I can pretty much see what needs to be done and how to do it. So that's your video for today. The Wright Flyer 40T repair is completed, and thank you all for watching.